Nikki, hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing pretty good, I think. What can we talk to you about today?
Well, I wanted to talk to y'all about kind of an interesting conversation I had with a coworker, and about my daughter.
Okay.
Well, our children, actually.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, 10 years old, had a crush on her son, who's 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
And, she was trying to figure a way to tell him, and she wrote him a note. He was very, cute and innocent and everything. And he was trying to find a way to tell her he doesn't like her like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking with their mom, with his mom about it, and she said that her rule is that her kids aren't allowed to date until they're ready to get married. And because the only reason to date is because you're looking for a partner.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking to get married.
The I kiss dating
And
goodbye model of relationships.
I just thought it was the weirdest thing because, I was talking with other coworkers later, and I told them that there is no way I want her to do that. I got married at 18 and now divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want her to go out and explore life a little bit.
Yeah.
And, it was just a really weird thing for her to say. Well, she has 12 children, so
you know where her mind has been
with all of her kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right? But no, I just wanted to hear y'all's opinion on that. And like I said, I told my daughter that, granted, she's 10, so the conversations are geared towards the 10-year-old.
Sure.
Basically, I want her to go out and experience life. I want her to date and have relationships and, just kind of do her thing before marriage, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with that. And apparently all my friends seem to think that's weird. But yeah, I just wanted to get y'all's take on this interesting
Sure. Yeah, I can say I very much grew up under that regime, and it did not work out well for me in a lot of ways. But even underlying all of that, there's this idea that a relationship is only quote-unquote successful if it is monogamous until death. Right? That you meet somebody, you date them, you fall in love with them, you get married, you move in together, you have kids, and then one of you dies, and that is the only definition of a successful relationship. And that's bullshit. I have had so many wonderful experiences with people that I don't speak to anymore. Maybe we, had a bad breakup, or maybe not. Maybe we just sort of drifted apart. But I would never want to give up those memories or those experiences. And yeah, you're talking about wanting your daughter to go out and live her life. And I say, yeah, life involves a lot of things, including love, including sex, including dating, including good dates and bad dates and
including
dumb stories.
Love and loss.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how can you really know if you love someone unless you've loved someone and lost them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and let's be real, like, as we get older, like, your daughter and that the other kid, they're going to make their own decisions when it comes down to it. They're going to grow up, and they're going to figure out if they want to or if they don't want to. I mean, I know I definitely, explored, and I think the children after us are going to, too.
Yeah, and how is she even? I know she's 10, and I don't mean to be getting too far ahead of things, but if she doesn't have an opportunity to date boys, to date girls, to date other types of people, and have these different experiences, how is she going to know who she wants to, quote, settle down with?
If she wants to at all.
Yeah, if that even is her direction.
I completely agree. Yeah. And I completely agree with that. And like I said, I was talking with some other friends, and I was saying which they thought was the weirdest thing, I want her to go out and have sex with people.
Yeah.
Good
sex, bad sex.
Mediocre sex.
I want her to be safe. And I told them I don't think it's weird to talk about it. I don't want my daughter to think it's weird to talk about sex with me. if anything, I would rather her ask me than her friend.
Yeah, or the internet, or yeah.
Yeah, and one of my friends said, it's supposed to be weird to talk to your mom about it.
You only make it weird.
Why?
It's weird if you make it weird.
Yeah. If you've already...
Exactly. I'm trying to normalize, I don't want it to be weird. I want it to be normal. I want her to be able to ask me about things. So,
yeah, it's like this weird version of the naturalistic fallacy, right? This idea that because something happens in nature, that it is ideal or what we're hoping for. Or in this case, the fact that it happens that way in our culture all the time, where...
Right, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that because talking about sex with your parents was weird, that's the way it should be. That's the way it ought to be for everybody. And God, no. Talk to anybody who has a good conversation, a good relationship with their parents, and ask them if they regret it or if that's somehow causing them harm in their lives. And I don't think you'll find anybody like that.
Well, and I would like to also say that, it strikes me that those people who find it difficult that find it awkward to talk to their parents about sex or relationships, those people tend to have trouble talking about sex and relationships with anyone, which I find to be very unhealthy.
And can really put somebody in a situation to be abused and not know it, to put somebody in a very vulnerable place because they don't have other people around them that are giving them that objectivity because they're cloistered away from those folks.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of what I had. You don't really talk about it. And I married the first boy I kissed, and I'm now divorced and trying to learn the whole dating thing. I don't know how well I'm doing, but, I'll figure it out. And I don't want her to go through that. I want her to have all the good and bad experiences now so that later on she can look back and go, well, that was stupid.
Yeah.
But I made a good friend, or I learned a new lesson or something. And I want her to be able to come up to me and say, I screwed up, or I did good, or, I don't want any details still, but I want her to be comfortable, talking to me about it, both her and my daughter, or my son. I don't know if it'll be different with him because he's a boy, but I still don't want it to be weird for him either. So.
Well, in that conversation, including consent is very important. I mean, consent is not only something that you need to talk about when it comes to sex and relationships, but also friendships, workplace. That conversation is definitely needs to be included in that, just to put a little bug in your ear. But then also I want to add the conversations that you have with your children, especially if your children are involved with other people that are like the family that you gave an example earlier. I can probably I feel confident guaranteeing that those children are going to come to your kids with questions. And
more than likely.
I mean, my parents didn't really talk a ton, but I had like 20 books on all kinds of stuff. And I had very curious friends that were like, I've never even seen this stuff. I didn't know we were going to get hair on our body. I mean, I could go on, but those conversations are very important, and I would definitely encourage you to have those.
And just piggybacking.
Yeah, I'm very open with my children. So, and I try to be as open as possible so that none of it's weird. And I mean, they're still kids, so they hear something in school, so of course they giggle. But I mean,
honestly, I still can't say the word Uranus without laughing a little bit. So that's healthy and normal and developmentally appropriate. But
that's both of my kids. Yeah.
And later, if you want to watch this video back when he said that, I just kind of just chuckled and shook my head a little bit.
Right. It's a naturally funny word.
It really is. But yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, I think we're probably all in agreement that you are definitely on the writer side of this.
Yeah, there's so much more to dating and relationships and sex and romance and all of these components than just marriage. You know, that's such a small part of life. I mean, it's an important part for a lot of people, but human beings are more than just their disability, more than just their orientation or their marital status. There's a lot of life to be lived. So it sounds like you're on track.
I'm trying. We'll see what happens when she's older.
Uh-huh.
But okay, yeah. It was awesome talking to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Well,
you
good luck
too.
to you. Thanks for calling in.
And hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thanks. You will. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, people who want to, like, using your word, cloister their children away and have this idea that when you go into the world of dating, that the end goal should always be marriage, right? Like, that is the golden cup or something that you're going to win.
Everything else is just working towards it.
Toward
and
that
if
goal,
you
yeah.
date too much without achieving it, then there's something
There's also
broken
something
about
wrong.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's very much, I referenced I Kissed Dating Goodbye, which was a book that was just everywhere when I was growing up. My parents shoved it down my throat. All of my friends had read it, and it was just so prevalent in the culture there. And I found out a few years ago that the writer basically regretted and recanted everything about it. And I kind of brought that up for discussion among some friends, and they were so uncomfortable by the fact that I was like, look, never mind the fact that some idiot wrote a book. Lots of idiots write lots of stupid books. It's fine. But what about the architecture and the culture and everything that went into it that just accepted these philosophies that were completely divorced from any outcome data research, any like thoughtful consideration, any anthropological studies of like different cultures? It was basically just, this makes sense, so we should do it. And that's a world as a skeptic that I become increasingly frustrated with, where because a certain philosophy resonates, that we don't examine it, that we aren't looking at it or really considering what the implications might be.
And not just in the realm of dating, but also in, just every other facet of life and social dynamics, that is the case.
Yeah, absolutely.